Subscribe to my mommy's channel. Like, comment, and share.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Where is the Manual? It's your girl Kiki. And so today I want to talk about something that people don't really warn you about when you become a parent. Keep schedule, your priorities, your time, your energy. But one thing that does not get talked about enough is how much motherhood changes your friendships. Before I had my daughter, friendships looked so different. Our conversations were about where we were going out that weekend, who was dating who, what TV shows everyone was binging, and whatever random drama was happening at work. Well, that last part is still happening. The biggest crisis in our friendship groups were about a terrible date or someone getting on someone else's nerves, or right, the stakes were just low at that time. But motherhood changes the lens you see everything through. Now our conversations look very different. Now we're talking about things like, why is my kid suddenly refusing vegetables they used to love? How does the world impact our child now? What is happening in politics that's going to have a great impact on our kids growing up? Right? How is AI going to change things for our children, right? Even is it a normal behavior for a 6-year-old to do X, Y, and Z? Or how do you get a child to go to sleep without negotiating like a tiny lawyer? And honestly, the conversations are deeper. Motherhood didn't just change my priorities, it changed the depth of my relationships. One thing I'm incredibly grateful for is that I have friendships that go all the way back to elementary school and junior high school. Friends who knew me before adulthood responsibilities even existed. Friends who knew me when the biggest worry in life was whether your crush liked you back or whether your mom will let you leave the house. These are friends who knew me when we were still figuring out who we were. They saw the awkward phases, the questionable choices, the fashion choices that we thought were amazing at the time, but probably might not be so amazing now. And when you've known someone that long, the friendship carries history. They've seen every version of you: the younger version, the insecure version, the ambitious version, the evolving version. And now they're just seeing the mother version of me, right? Which encompasses all of those things. And that's something I don't take for granted because long term friendships are rare. And I have quite a few of them. To have people in your life who have known you for over 30 years and who have grown with you through every stage of life, that's something special. Those friendships hold memories, shared experiences, inside jokes that nobody else would understand. And when you become a parent, those friends become witnesses to an entirely new chapter of your life. One of the funniest things about motherhood is how dramatically the conversations between friends change. We used to analyze men. Now we analyze our kids. We used to dissect text messages from someone we're dating. Now we're dissecting behavior patterns like we're parenting psychologists. Our group chats now include questions like, why is my kid suddenly negotiating bedtime like a lawyer? Why do they ask 42 questions right before falling asleep? Sometimes my friendship calls feel like a parenting support group mixed with memes. One person is venting about their child refusing to eat certain foods. Another person is sharing something hilarious their kid said in public that made them want to disappear. And someone else is dealing with changes of like teenage boys, right? And we already know if parents of teenage boys, you already know how that goes. And what's funny is how seriously we take these conversations because parenting is serious. But we don't forget to laugh. We laugh a lot because kids are hilarious. Because parents, if we didn't laugh at the chaos, we would lose our mind. Another thing that changed in friendships after becoming a parent is how we plan out things, right? Back in the days, we planned trips around what flights were cheap or what beach looked amazing on, TV or whatever. Now it's Instagram and Facebook, but then it was like whatever we saw. Now we plan trips around our kids' schedules. Instead of asking where we should go, we're over here having conversations with our children where would you like to go? Where would my kid feel comfortable? Where would they have a good time? Right? We're asking, when are the kids off from school? Then it becomes a whole full investigation. Does anyone have any soccer this week, swim this week, dance this week, basketball? Is there a school project or a test happening? Whose kid may have some camp activities, right? And if you're not taking your kids, who's going to watch your kid, right? So I end up taking my child on all my trips. So trips that were solo friend group trips now become family trip. And we already know planning a girls' trip now requires the same level of coordination as planning some sort of corporate conference, right? Even planning a day outing is not even easy. Sometimes we may find a day or so that we are all free, or some of us are free, and then we just celebrate like we just solved a national crisis because that is hard to do. Back in the day, we would have planned to get together around happy hour, right? Which was like pretty much every day after work. Now I have to plan around bedtime, and that turns out to be a phone call. And honestly, the fact that we still try to make those trips happen or those get togethers happen says a lot about how much we value those friendships. One thing motherhood teaches you quickly is that friendships sometimes shift depending on life stages. Most of my friends already had children way before me. So the beginning stages that I'm in, they have already been through and totally forgot how it was. And the couple friends who don't have kids yet may not quite understand the invisible labor that comes with parenting. But honestly, how could they? Before I had my daughter, I didn't fully understand it either. I thought parenting was mostly about keeping a child safe, making sure they ate. Now I know parenting is about emotional development, teaching values, managing schedules, helping them navigate feelings, and constantly wondering if you're doing the right thing. It's a lot. It's very overwhelming. So I've learned to give grace to friends who don't understand that reality yet, but better yet, giving grace to myself, right? And once that couple friends who don't have kids decide to take this journey, or the ones who are now in that journey, I could be as welcoming of them as the friends who have done it before me are doing with me right now. One of the most unexpected changes in my relationship actually happened with my mom. Motherhood humbled me because when you're a child, you see your parents from a very specific perspective. You see the rules, you see the discipline, you see the moments where you disagreed with them, and you don't really see the full weight that they're carrying. What it takes to be a parent, the sacrifices they have to make. When I became a parent, something shifted. Suddenly, I saw my mother not just as mom, but as a woman who has been figuring it out too. Now our conversations can be a little different, right? We talk about parenting. We may share advice, some of it very unsolicited. We reflect on things from my childhood that we definitely may see differently now. And motherhood gave me empathy I didn't have before. Another thing that changed my perspective on some of my friendships and parenting was when I was a godmother, right? Being a godmother gave me a front row seat to the realities of parenting. Before I had kids, I had so many opinions about parenting, and my sister can attest to that. But after kids, I had humility because parenting is one of those things you truly do not understand until you're responsible for a tiny human yourself. One thing I value about my friendships now is the honesty, right? We celebrate the highs, the funny moments, the milestones, But we also share the lows, the cries, whether they're silent or loud, the moments where we feel overwhelmed, the times we question ourselves. The conversations deepen friendships because they remind you that you're not alone. One important lesson I've learned is that friendship still needs space beyond parenting. Yes, we talk about our kids, but we also need adult conversations about life, dreams, growth, marriage, dating. And that means intentionally making time for each other, planning those girls' trips, planning the spa days, planning dinner, after work, happy hour, brunch, movie dates. Sometimes maybe it's just going for tea or coffee. Those moments matter because they remind you that you're still individuals beyond motherhood. And I, for one, have been caught up in just motherhood. When I look back, motherhood didn't destroy my friendship. It revealed which ones were meant to grow with me. Some friendships may have faded, some grew deeper, and some transformed into something even more meaningful. And to the friends who have been with me since elementary school, junior high school, thank you for growing with me, for supporting me, for laughing with me, for crying with me, for giving me grace. Motherhood may change friendship, but the right one will evolve with you. I'll see you next time. Thank you for checking out Where's the Manual?
Subscribe to my mommy's channel.